Welcome, one and all, to Zelda Speedruns. Today we have a Zelda 2 Randomizer tournament race for you. This is Group D, jkoper versus Shatty. I am going to hand it over to our very competent commentators and go get the runners started in this race. Take it away, comps.
Cool. Welcome, one and all, Zelda 2 After Dark, for most of you. I'm Chromaticalism, joined by Big Slamu. Am I pronouncing that correctly? I've always wondered.
That is correct. Yeah, you got it right there. Tonight we've got jkoper and Shatty facing off in the first group smash for them. They're running Group 1 flags, which will be about as normal as you're going to get. So candle on, normal enemies.
I think that's a good choice to be getting the tournament started. Just take away some of the initial challenge. Kind of levels the playing field a little bit too, I feel like. Where you're not introducing some of the trickier flags this early in the tournament. The lights off and the mixed enemy sets can be a little tricky if you haven't spent a ton of time running it. Both of these runners, though, very experienced with Zelda 2 Randomizer. Shatty was in the previous, I believe, the Max Rando and the Standard tournament. Definitely the Standard. And Koper, of course, plays every Zelda Randomizer under the sun, seems like. And then some.
Yeah. Koper made bracket stage last year. Shatty got bumped in the groups, but both of them are very competent. Z2R, Z1R, just about everything runners.
That's true. I have seen Shatty running a lot of Z1 randomizer also. Oh, really quick, Koper getting into Maze Island right away, trying to get 2 free items out of that.
Yep, and it looks like the grass tile had a P bag, which got Shatty to 223 right off the bat. So
that is a really good find off the bat. Normally you see those P bags and you don't get too excited, but that's pretty nice. That's a pretty nice start.
Yeah, the nice thing here is you're looking at the normal size enemies. Obviously, the first couple zones in the west, you're going to see a nice mix of enemies. Whereas Koper's going against some of the bigger, tougher enemies right away, but he's good enough at it that he can just clear them away.
Sure, and could pay dividends also with experience. You know, obviously that grass tile, that Stonehenge was definitely the most efficient way to go for that. On the west, it looks like we have a divided continent here. Pretty solid mountains along the bottom there. We're gonna have to cross at some point.
Yep, quick fairy spell here for Shatty, it looks like.
That's a really good find. That opens up your palaces right away. And taking an early palace dive can be a huge advantage.
And looking over on Koper's side, it looks like Maze Island has 3 ways in and out. There's a raft tile, there's a cave, and then there was the bridge. So Maze Island might be leading everywhere else this seed.
Maybe. Sometimes those multiple connectors just take you to one cave away from the other one in Death Mountain or the like. Redbird, welcome. It was a really fat pea bag that gave Shatty those quick levels.
Koper just got his 500 in the top of P4 there, though, so that'll get him right back on top.
Thinking about it. Thinking about taking that life. Gonna prioritize attack? No, we're going life. So 2-2-3 for both runners.
Yeah, I think we'll see a divergence in strategy there. Koper likes to go big attack levels early. If the seed lets him, he might go 6 or 7 attack before he takes a big level up and turning that into 3 or 4 magic levels. So we might see that. Shatty likes to keep it even.
Conventional logic is usually magic 2 or 3, life 3, sometimes 4, and then prioritizing attack beyond that. Of course, sometimes if you notice that you're taking a ton of damage from some of those enemies, maybe your life level 3 or 4 really is still very, very squishy, you might prioritize life. Or if there's a spell like Fairy that is preventing your exploration because you can't use it, you'll prioritize magic. But generally, that attack level is going to make everything a little quicker.
Yeah, that early fairy probably lends towards getting Magic 3 if it's going to make it cheaper. It looks like we've only seen the one item so far in Maze Island. It's a magic shard they've both got so far.
And that cave connector hooks up to Death Mountain. I'm curious to see how much these blue Lizalfos give. If you can pin them against the wall, that's a pretty efficient way to kill them, even on low levels, and that can be a pretty good XP boost. And jkoper is going through Death Mountain.
Kind of surprised by that with as much as available in the west, but he didn't see fairy, so he doesn't know that if he can get over the jump cave and the fairy cave. So
it's a decision I don't disagree with, particularly while still being on low levels, because Death Mountain is another one of those places where there is typically high experience available. So it can be a good way just to get some momentum going in that regard, and then when you do your exploration, you're that much more prepared to quickly clear through things. And it could be the difference if there's a really important item lurking in Death Mountain that you don't want to have to deal with later. You're already in the neighborhood.
yeah, Shatty took a peek at magic at the fairy spell. It costs 90, so he can't cast it just yet. So he's got to find something else to do.
That is a really high starting fairy spell. Hopefully a level or two is going to make the difference, but this might be one of those ones where we have to see Magic 5 before Fairy is really viable.
Looks like jkoper's found Magic Cave pretty quick here, or not Magic Cave, Hammer Cave pretty quick. Diving right in there, so that should find him something, at least, for his time in Death Mountain.
Huge improvement in the 4.0, in my opinion, are these logical cave connections in Death Mountain. You can actually see where you're going. It makes it so much easier to find these connectors, continent connectors, or Hammer Cave entrances.
Yeah, it's definitely nice when one of these stands out.
It is a bit of a gamble, but he's going to get this item and know something that Shatty does not. Depending on what items he sees, that could be pretty big later. Already a pretty big divergence.
Yeah, Shatty's halfway through the jump cave, but he can't cast fairy, so unless he can get 200 XP in this next room, he's gonna have to turn around and go back.
And with that extra magic jar, I think there's a pretty reasonable likelihood that if he does get that level up, then fairy is castable. Hopefully.
jkoper picks up the boots in the bottom of the Hammer Cave. I don't know if they're particularly useful right now, but obviously they'll be great later.
I tend to think that's a fantastic find. That's really solid.
Yeah, it won't get him from the north to the south on the west, but if he can find a way to the east, they'll probably be very useful there, unless you've got a mountainous biome over there.
Boots almost never hurt, that's for sure. There are much worse things to find after a big dive into a Hammer Cave in Death Mountain. A little curious about the decision to walk out here, maybe just hoping to get that level up.
Yeah, and the only other thing that's The only other thing
Okay,
I think of is you might be looking for a connector. There's one connector cave left.
Yeah, that's a pretty big needle in a haystack task, though. I'd spend my time searching the west. You've got so many more options for items to show up. Figure out what some of your palaces are, where you're going to spend the meat and potatoes of the run. Looking for the second item too out of Maze Island, so maybe that's some of the rationale there. Can we find another item here?
Yeah, it didn't look like this back corner was boots blocked, but maybe it was. It looks like Shatty's trying to do the same Death Mountain clear that jkoper just did. Is that the raft tile in Maze Island there? Or in Death Mountain too?
Oh, I didn't see.
I thought I just saw it on the left side of Shatty's screen.
Well, that's a question answered if it is. Just a pea bag for that second item from Maze Island. So jkoper's up Aing, got plenty to explore in the west. I think that's the right move. And he's gonna get that pea bag and that fairy spell pretty quickly.
Yeah, we'll see if he can cast it on. Hopefully he takes 4 here. He doesn't. He skips it. We'll see if he can cast it on Magic 3 though.
And fairy's going to be crucial to getting down stab, most likely, because jump being blocked behind the medicine. Gets the hint for the glove. That's nice.
There he is walking into our room. This will be fairy for him.
I'm not sure why that happens with the spell names in the hints there, where some of the letters get cut off. Oh, that is the raft tile.
That is a
you're right.
raft, yeah.
So no raft required in this seed. That's a redundant item.
So there's one cave that's going to take us to the east, and it's either in the south of the west or it's somewhere in Death Mountain.
Well, the ideal play here is definitely to go through the west. You're going to be going through all those caves anyway. Start there.
Oh yeah, big drop off in magic costs there for fairy on 3. It's down to 43.
That's fantastic. So that means that you get one solid cast out of that. And then with blue jar pickups, or you get one more magic container, and that really opens up the exploration for you.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fun to dive a palace on this yet, but it at least lets him move south.
Yeah, if you see one of the shorter ones, Palace 1 in particular, absolutely go for it. And you can even gamble on some of the other ones with the thought that, you might receive some keys along the way, but also that you're going to pick up experience and maybe you get a chance to take a level or two, either to get the magic refill or to lower that cost some more.
Looks like jkoper's going to grab downstab before he heads down, and I think that's, at least on my side, I think that's a great call.
Absolutely. And you'll be able to grab the spell hint for jump if he wants as well. Super useful late game, GP, really nice to have jump. Oof, Shatty's taken a beating in Death Mountain. Hasn't found that hammer cave yet, which hopefully will pretty soon, because those boots, I have a feeling they're going to be important. We'll see.
Yeah, he's getting pretty close here, though. If he, I think it's down left, is that right? Or somewhere around here, it's...
It was definitely on the lower portion.
I think it was south of that boulder, so...
Oof. That game over hurts really bad, especially knowing that he was pretty close to those boots.
He did pick up Magic 3 on the way, though, so he can cast Fairy now.
He's going back to it. I think it's an interesting choice just because we really haven't seen much out of the west yet. And
Yeah, I don't think they've cleared a single cave out of the west, right? Just the grass
No.
tile.
with that kind of resources available, I do question a little bit why you would make the decision to go back into Death Mountain, which I assume is what Shatty's going for here.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing he can go for, unless he's trying to find that second item here.
Yeah, or go for the palace, you know? Take that out, and then you don't have to worry about returning to Maze Island. Assuming you've gotten the items you need.
Only problem is I think it's P4.
Oh, yeah, that would be an issue. You can always grab the item from there, too. That's, that comes up sometimes. That required item from P4 to beat P4. But again, that's low probability.
It looks like Coper's diving into P3, which is on a caldera about halfway from the north to the south and the west, so he's going to take a dive here. It's either 3 or 6.
I always assume 3 until proven otherwise. Not that it makes any difference. Just don't like having the
And-
questions.
There's the answer. It's 3. And he picked up down stab, so he should have an easier fight with Rebo here.
Fantastic. Little too far to the left there to do the cheese strat. And this is a pretty buff Rebo too. I think it's been like 5 or 6 hits before one of those life meter units came down. Pez, whatever they are.
Looks like he's maybe a pixel or two too far right there, but it might be good.
It is a bit far, so you might run into some... No. Not bad.
He got the whole horse portion, but he's going to have to fight this one straight up, so...
Or at least work to pin him to the left, which it looks like he's going for. Ooh. That's always tricky when he goes too far there. Oh, he had that. He had that. He had it.
I think he got an extra body shot in there. I think he thought he was dead because he got a body shot instead of the sword beam.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's really easy to take the hit and assume that you're done. I think I did that in a Dragon Warrior randomizer seed recently too. Just like, I'm dead. I'm gonna reset. But taking a death is a little different than resetting, I guess. Still in it. Got the kill. No harm done.
That's a big one too, because that's another level there.
So, in all likelihood here, we're gonna get, was it gonna be a life level? Or at least the XP towards the magic level if he elects to skip and keep searching for an item here.
Yeah, I think he thought about skipping there, and I think he realized he has no extra lives, and it's better to take the thing than to lose the XP at this point.
And knowing that fairy is still kind of your only way to open doors, I think that's a good call.
Quick dig on 3 to find the item here. We'll see what it is.
There it is.
There's your jump spell.
Nice. So worth the extra dive there, in my opinion, to get that.
Yeah, and it looks like he's got 2 palaces immediately on the other side of this cave. So as soon as he jumps out of here, he'll have 2 more things to dive into, hopefully.
Yeah, if I'm Koper here, I'm hoping one of those isn't GP, just so that I can knock both of those out of the way. It's possible he'll need to come back to that portion of the map if he does need to pick up jump, and of course you do have to do Maze Island still, so I guess it doesn't matter too much, but it's nice to be able to take those palaces out as they come.
You got Palace 2 and Palace 6. The other thing he has over on this side of the west is 5 items that he can find in the caves. So
Fantastic.
should be relatively dense item gathering here for him pretty quick here.
Those boots are certainly helping. Don't have to walk all the way through the town to get across the lake.
Looks like Shatty's going to dip Palace 3 as well. I didn't see if he got downstab or not. If he runs in a rebow without downstab, I think he might have a rough time of it.
If he's still on attack 2, I would say that's definitely likely that it'll be a rough time.
So Cobra picks up the spell in Saria. I think if it wasn't free, he probably wouldn't take the effort to find it, but it's sometimes useful.
Yeah, it's just that one item. Rarely does it get used in combat, but man, when one of those key items is locked behind that spell tower, it can often be the last item you get if you didn't pick up spell right away.
And Shatty, after a quick game over in P3, is also going to come to the south side. Raft for Koper, we know that's all but useless, but he might not yet.
No, I'm not sure. I think his screen might have been the one where we saw the raft tile in Death Mountain first.
I think we both, yeah, they both should have seen it. I don't know if they both registered or not. But yeah, Koper's clearing items very quickly here. Here's Medicine Cave, or not Medicine, Magic Jar Cave. There's the glove we got the hint for.
A red Dyra. But we've got the small enemies turned on, so no red Dyras here today.
Red Dyra in the dark, first enemy, level 1.
Oh yeah. Well, second or third enemy means that you're going to run into it when you're in the place that you can't escape from.
Alright, so Koper cleared 2 caves and is now diving Palace 2. Takes the intentional death there because he doesn't have enough MP for Fairy.
It's so rough.
I think you just got a 1-up drop there, that'll make up for it. Because these group 1 flags do allow for 500 XP bags and 1-up drops and keys all to be dropped from enemies, so.
The keys are the best, I think. The best bang for the buck.
Haven't seen any yet. I know they're not guaranteed, so.
No, we may not have them at all in this seed, but you never know. Sometimes you play the better part of the seed, and in the last palace you're exploring, one decides to pop up. Too late. And when you do have low magic like this, those keys that come up in exploration are super useful. It opens up some of those rooms that you might not otherwise explore, just knowing that you might get a key through there. Especially in a longer palace.
Definitely. And Koper picks up another key there. Shatty found Palace 1, which has to be in the east, so one of those quick caves took him over to the east as well, so new exploration area for Shatty, but quick into a palace. We still have Medicine Cave, Trophy Cave, and Heart Container Cave on the west that all have to be in that south. 3 quick items. I'm surprised neither of them scraped around for those.
Sometimes the play is to just take where the connector takes you. You never know if you're going to just quickly pick up exactly what you need to open up the seed. Seen that too many times. So whatever you're closest to is often the best play. Not always, but it's often the best play.
Well, and Coper with a glove already, I think, makes a ton of sense to dive these palaces, because there's nothing keeping him out of these palaces anymore.
Oh, even with 1 fairy cast per life, getting those keys along the way, getting the 1-ups in the drop pool, I think in many ways Coper is actually in go mode as far as item collection goes, not as much for spells. And if you have one of those required spells, Thunder or Reflect, hidden behind a child, that's the only thing that really keeps him out of that go mode for items.
Yep, looks like Shatty over in the east found both sides of the glove-blocked elevator that took him down on P1, so he's out of there for now. Glove being in the west means he might be running around for a little while. But he does find the any key on the desert tile.
That's a fantastic find. Coper's not going to have too much trouble now with palaces. With Magic 5 is going to allow him to cast Fairy twice. But yeah, the any key is a huge peace of mind for your exploration.
Yeah, Coper also picked up the magic jar there in 3. This isn't 3. This is 2. That'll let him cast it twice for sure. But yeah, both 5 and the 6 jar would do it for him.
And he's digging through a key room here. I'm not sure if he's aware, because there's not a ton of reason to be searching out keys at this point. You got a couple in your pocket. You got enough magic to cast Fairy twice.
Looks like Shatty picked up the life spell.
That'll come in handy. There have been a fair amount of deaths so far. Until we get a few more life containers and levels. Yeah, good early pickup to have that.
It's actually only 34 MP at level 3 as well, so easy casting.
Yeah, that's a great cost for your life spell. If that gets even lower, then...
See, the east looks really wide open here. A couple of little pathways there, but there's two more towns in the second palace. So Shatty's found almost everything in the east.
Wow. Yeah, so we may not really need those boots after all, unless we've got a water tile that has something that's required. Yet to be seen.
We are 7 jars for New Kasuto, so Shatty can't grab that just yet.
Hate to see that. I know Coper picked up spell. I'm not sure if Shatty did. I didn't catch that.
He did not, unfortunately. He must have skipped Surya, or it might have been the other side of the water. Because Shatty didn't get the boots.
Spells. We got Reflect out of the way, so Palace 4 is explorable now. The only really required thing that's remaining then is that Thunder spell, which still might be behind a child. And in all likelihood, the glove is going to be something Shatty's going to need to pick up as well.
Yeah, and seeing 2 palaces on the east means that we probably don't need Flute this seed, so... Yeah, at this point, Coper is ready to go. Just gotta find Thunder.
If there's a town that has Thunder in it that's behind a flute, that would be the only way.
That's true.
Still not the highest priority to be digging for a flute. There are other things to dig for still, but not so much the flute. And I think we just got our down stab answer for Shatty with the Mew there. I haven't been looking too much, but jumping directly onto a Mew with no down stab happening is not something that typically happens. Here's another town. I don't think we are going to run into that problem of needing the child to... No, there it is. There's Thunder.
Yeah, so we've got Dash behind the child, which I think is probably a skip for both of these guys at this point, so...
I would say unless that child just kind of happens, you know, during their natural exploration. Upstab, God, it's more and more worth it seems like, to pick that up. I mean, when you're dealing with the long GP especially, but it might be worth it. You run in if you're gonna run into it anyway. I would say if you don't run into the child, you don't run into Darunia as part of your natural exploration, just trying to finish the seed, then yeah, not a big deal to pick it up. If you do find it, grab both. You know, you got the child, grab both. May as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's only technically one upstab blocked room in GP, but there's another 4 or 5 more that make it much easier to use.
Way easier, and just dealing with the Bird Knights with having upstab is really helpful, and the King bots.
So Koper left 2 without finding Helmet Head. He got the item, but not Helmet Head, and looks like he's in 6 now. I don't know why he left 2, but...
Yeah, unless he knows something that we missed, like I was gonna say a glove block, but that wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be a fairy block. There would be no reason not to.
Never mind. I missed Helmet Head. He has Helmet Head, so this is him digging his 3rd palace at this point.
A good call. It looks like he was trying to pick up an extra key there, but decided to nope out before the death happened. So hammer pickup in one of the east caves for Shatty. Ethereal Seth, that is a lovely poem.
Quick Barba there for Koper, so this could be third gem already for him. Barba being not the most difficult boss, but definitely one of the more time-consuming ones.
Yeah, especially if you're on anything below attack 6 or so. You're pretty much guaranteed to have to stab him many times.
I don't know the patience for the stabs.
On attack 1.
I don't know the patience, I just jackhammer.
Right? Yeah, that's the way. That's the way.
I almost one-cycled him tonight in my tourney race.
Nice. When you get the jumpless jackhammer, let me know. That's the real swag.
Probably a ways away from that. We'll get there, though.
Yeah, I'm not doing that, ever. There's just rarely a reason to, you know.
Koper started to make quick work of this thing. 3 gems at 33 minutes. I mean, Shatty's been really close. I think it's just, I mean, he's a bad combat room here and there away from a couple of ugly game overs, and he could be right up there with him.
Yeah, those game overs are really tricky, and you're absolutely right. It's just like a couple of hits in a couple of rooms ends up being minutes and minutes of time lost to the game over.
There's Coper jumping to the east, immediately
Oh.
into P1.
Shatty, my dude. If you jump from the 3rd tile away from that 3 high block, solidly on the 3rd tile, you get it every time. Take it. Take that attack level. Do it. Thank you.
Shatty's trying again for the boots here, and again we've realized the boots are all but useless this seed, but
Yeah, it's a shame that it's happening at this stage of the game, but that's kind of what we were talking about at the beginning. Like, the gamble for jkoper to pick it up early meant that it was kind of out of sight, out of mind, and Shatty still has the question, is something I need in Death Mountain? And having Hammer gives access to Spectacle Rock also.
it looks
But
like
again-
Shatty might have forgotten how to. No, there he goes. He's going back now. I thought he was here last time and he went across, but
Could be
he'll
just
get
trying
his
to pick up
boots
the
here.
level. Horsehead's a chomp.
So was that one hit KO right there? Jeez.
No, no, he had some low hit points to begin with, but it was, I think, 4 hits or so. So these Zelda 2 randomizer races coincided with something in the vanilla community we do on Mondays, West Coast, and Horsehead races. We're doing some tonight. And of the 3 of us there, me, Riak, Trav White, me and Trav both got PBs in our Horsehead times. So Horsehead is on the mind. I think we did like 6 or 7 Horsehead runs from start.
Nice. And you guys have a Horsehead % tourney coming up, right? Or did that just happen?
This Saturday, and I think that's still pretty open if anyone wants to get in on that action. Just RTA runs through the Palace 1 gem. Pretty entertaining, pretty fun. Oh, we're about to see Water Tile, looks like.
Yep, Cobra Magic Key, he should be on Reflect and Thunder pretty soon here.
If I'm Coper, I want a heart out of this one. Nope.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them want to be going into GP on 4 hearts. Looks like Coper's come up to the one spot that might actually be beneficial to have boots. We'll see if there's anything up here.
Yeah, Life 7 is nice, 4 heart containers is nice, and knowing also that these are going to be the unshuffled enemy sizes does make the GP a little more manageable without finding those. Still nice to pick up some of those buffs.
So it looks like Coper's trying to find his way into Death Valley there. Boots look like they weren't quite required, but they were definitely helpful.
They usually are. For at least something. Looks like that might be Darunia. Or is that our life spell? Is that,
Life was in Kasuto, Shield we just
Oh, no.
saw first time in Raru. Or in Ruto, sorry.
It's Thunder. So that's pretty close to where our Kasuto location was, if I recall. Or, I'm sorry, the, New Kasuto. where we get the reflect spell for Shatty.
Yeah, and Coper's actually got enough magic jars to check whatever's in the first item slot too. So that's 2 more checks that Coper gets. Maybe a couple of hearts there.
Yeah, solid lead for Coper. It would take some real confusion, I think, in the seed, getting lost in some loops or one of those mistakes, like not realizing that you have an item or a spell that you already do. Like, I think that's the kind of thing that, the kind of luck that Shatty needs from jkoper right now.
Yeah, I think even a really unruly GP probably isn't enough to squeeze this gap. So down through that passageway right there, that's going to be your reflect spell for Coper at the bottom of the passage there.
And we'll more than likely see what this first item is here. The cross.
Welcome 81 Raiders from Zelda Speedruns 3. We are roughly halfway through one of the first Zelda 2 randomizer tourney matches of the season. We've got jkoper and Shatty. We're about halfway through. Coper's got 4 gems placed and well on his way, and Shatty's just starting to get going. He should have a gem placed relatively soon here. But yeah, welcome in and enjoy the action.
Yeah, not really a ton of reasons why Shatty doesn't have a gem placed yet. I think prioritizing item exploration, spell exploration over the palace exploration, where Coper's been a little more balanced in his approach throughout.
Yeah, I think there's still a couple of checks on the west that Coper didn't do.
And that's fine. Like when you have the items you do, I think that heart is a good pickup. Just a little peace of mind in the late game. But not really a whole lot of reason to keep digging item locations for Coper at this point. I'd just go full go mode.
Yeah, he's got to get back to Maze Island sometime. And then I think that means that Valley of Death is going to be the natural home of Thunderbird, so...
Where was Palace 5? Sorry, I missed that along the way.
Coper just walked into it, just
Okay.
barely northwest of New Kasuto.
Excellent. We haven't seen a requirement for hammer anywhere in the seed.
And at this point, I think we've seen everything that could be hammer blocked, so...
Pretty much. It's likely to be one of those P-bag tiles or something.
Well, and all Hammer was protecting in Death Mountain was a P-bag as well, so... One thing Coper doesn't have that he could need is upstab still. I don't think he's found Darunia yet.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Darunia at all, so that could be what Hammer is protecting. Unless, yeah, unless that tile doesn't exist.
Yeah, I haven't really seen a standalone forest tile or three-head rock yet, so...
Well, Shatty's got his 6th magic container. That's going to be super helpful. Classic,
like
what spell did I just cast?
I was gonna say, yeah. It's not often you see blue iron knuckles turn into red ones.
Even though I don't use spell in combat ever. I do think the randomized enemy output of Spell is a nice addition.
It's great. It's got its niche uses. I don't think I would ever think to use it, but yeah, it's not bad.
There are definitely circumstances where that's going to be the difference between you getting through a palace or taking that game over. Or getting to a palace so that you can up A when you're doing overworld exploration to get past a game over.
So Koper doesn't have any of the survivability spells. He doesn't have life. He doesn't have shield. He doesn't have jump. That could make it rough for him in GP, but he's also at life 7 with 5 jars, so
well,
definitely doable.
Sometimes GP will tell you in the hardest way possible that you need those things. And hopefully that's not what Koper runs into. Yeah, DH, I came across a similar one recently where I did everything I could to avoid leaving and getting upstab and ended up spending 40 minutes in GP. It was a long GP, but still 40 minutes. Because I didn't have upstab and just wanted to absolutely rule everything out besides going out and getting it. Saves so much more time just to have it. Yeah, woof. It was bad. Yeah.
So Shatty just finished the west. Shatty's got every item in the west now, and he's only missing one item in the east at this point that he can get. So definitely a heavy prioritization on items, but he needs to start getting in dungeons and placing gems.
The completionist in us, you know. I think that was the biggest adjustment to randomizers for me, is I tend to 100% like anything I'm doing casually. So when you don't know what to expect from a seed, it's so easy to just, well, here's all the locations on my tracker, let me just check everything.
Looks like he's going back into 1. He does know basically the entire way through 1 because he found both sides of the glove block earlier.
Palace 5 being Palace 5 for jkoper. Long exploration here. Fairy friends.
Shatty taking down Horsehead without any trouble. That'll be a gem for him, and he's on the board.
Yeah, that one is glove blocked, yeah. Both sides of the elevator.
And Shatty found both sides of the elevator because that was a loop around the elevator. That's what sent him out searching, and he searched down every item that's out there, so. Gover's about 30 rooms into P5. No boss in sight.
Crazy thing about some of these reconstructed palaces is you can do that exploration where you've gone 35 rooms in one direction, and then find out on like a second dive in or something that if you went left instead of right in that very first fork, it looped like straight to where you found the boss, going really deep the other direction. So sometimes that can be a huge difference when runners take diverging paths. And that's a key to the left here.
I say he's walking down the dead end. It does take a long time to pick up, especially all these community rooms. They're not the easiest things in the world to memorize.
Well, I remember at the Max Rando tournament, it was fairly similar with jkoper, where he spends enough time in other games that some of the new additions hadn't been absorbed. And I wonder if there's some of that still. We've seen a lot of key rooms from him. This is another one right here.
Yep, his combat's outstanding, right? And I mean, his combat's up there with the best of them. And if he didn't play, 14 other randomizers at a high level, he could probably be one of the best in Z2. And I think on any given day, if he makes the right decisions, he can put it up against anybody.
But specializing is boring. Grinding is boring. I'd rather play games and have fun. But, kind of a hypocrite. That's the only game I play, pretty much.
I've picked up 3 randomizers in the last 9 months, so.
Yeah. Same.
Trying to do my part.
Is it Dragon Warrior Z1 and Z2?
Those are the 3.
That's me too. The same set.
It's the best part of the pandemic for me is discovering there were randomizers.
Oh yeah. Dude, I remember when I first heard about the concept, I thought it sounded like the most amazing thing in the world. And I think it was Link to the Past was first one I heard of. I don't know if it was the first one that was done, but that was the first one I heard of. Never actually saw it in action until a bunch more were out there. And Z1 was the first one I tried to play. I still hold that this one is the easier one to get into, just because there are so many fewer things you have to keep track of and be aware of, even if some of the gameplay mechanics are a little finicky.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of, we were remiss not to thank DigShake for putting this whole thing together, the randomizer. If you guys haven't checked out the community, jump on. It's a great time. Weeklies on Tuesdays and Saturdays. I don't know if they're going to be going on during the tournament as much, but great community, great game. If you haven't picked this up, I would highly recommend giving it a shot. I'm only a month and a half into this thing, and I've already put 70 seeds under my belt. That's how much I'm enjoying it.
It's really fun. I love that feeling that I need to see the those locations. What's going to be in that location? I think what really got me hooked on it was when I switched to original hardware. Also, get the CRT colors. There's something about it, man. It's so sparkly.
Yeah, I just picked up a capture card for it. Now I just need to get the power pack going.
Yeah. It was definitely hard to pull the trigger when I saw the price tag for that, but I mean, I use it more than any other cartridge I have, so it's paid for itself, I would say. Not in money, in love, appreciation, time invested. Oh, we're Guma.
I was gonna say you probably put more hours into that than any AAA title you've played, so.
You know, it's true. But then again, I am in my 30s, and people do tend to get set in their ways. Listen to the same albums over and over again, and play the same games over and over again. You know, pick up some new things here and there, but it's never gonna quite have the same magnetic appeal that those things that were there in the formative years have. It is Late Night Zelda 2, folks.
Super deep in P5, Koper found Guma, and after a rough death, he got him on the second try, so bet he feels good to get in and out of there.
Yeah,
he is going to dig for the bonus level.
And this is the item room.
There's the item, yeah. Was that Guma's breadstick, or?
Yeah, it's one of those deep fried breadsticks from Applebee's. Those are disgusting and amazing. I picked up the level, that's nice. Just in time at the end of that dead end room. And what is it going to be? Attack 6? That sure would be nice.
I think it might be life 8, but we'll see. So it should be a quick up A after this. Back to Maze Island. Clear 4, and then on to Valley Death. It is attack 6, there you go.
Yeah, good condition to finish out the game.
Yeah, attack 6 is definitely my comfort zone when I'm fighting Thunderbird or going through GP.
My other favorite Thunderbird levels are 8 and 1.
Shatty's trying 5 again here. This is on 455. This Guma will not be fun, and he's in the way in the back of the palace. So
And with 4 more to go after this, Shatty is in for a long night.
I think his night will probably last about 30 seconds longer than Koper's, based on my conversation with him before the tournament.
30 seconds longer? You mean
don't-
the races combined, or?
I don't think he intends to finish out the seeds.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's like Koper already had the other race. I wasn't sure if you were talking about like that factoring in. I think that's a good move. We've had a few of these seeds that have dragged on for a while where we talk about the winner being the one who gave up first. This isn't one of those seeds, you know. This is definitely a fairly manageable, fairly typical, I would say.
Yeah, probably slightly on the faster side. Not a whole lot of hidden.
No. What you
Surf,
need is pretty much out in the open.
Surf's got a question on that fairy clip. I can explain it, but Chroma, you probably, having done it a million times more than I, would do a better job.
Well, I don't know if I do a better job. I definitely don't know, like, mechanically what makes it work. There's definitely a connection between the left side of the screen and the right side of the screen where there's some wrapping possible. Yeah, fairy feet, Trev. So basically you just have to tap one frame at a time, because there is one pixel on which the fairy animation will disappear. And when the fairy animation disappears, you press the opposite direction of the exit, and it'll pop you out on the other side of the screen. So instead of having to travel all the way through the screen, which can take you, I don't know, 15 seconds, 14 seconds, something like that, if you go all the way across, it could be 2 or 3 seconds, you know, if you do it pretty quickly. So can save a fair amount of time.
Yeah, similar to the Z1R screen scroll.
Very similar.
Basically, single frame tap, opposite direction, and you're off to the races. So takes a little bit to get figured out, but once you figure it out, it's pretty second nature.
The difference with fairy feet is that you don't have any leeway for a failed attempt, because you have to get on that exact pixel. If you go past it by 1 pixel, you've already exited the screen the way that you came. So it benefits you to go almost all the way and then do the 1 frame taps until the animation disappears.
Yep, and while we're blabbering about that, Koper picked up gem number 6 and is off to Valley of Death to meet Thunderbird.
That was incredibly fast. But I guess he did spend a little time at the very beginning of the seed exploring. Oh man, there's a game over. Exploring that Palace 4 at least a little bit, getting a sense.
So I don't think we've seen the entire pathway into Valley of Death, but it looked like it was just up there, just north of P5. Shouldn't be too hard to find.
Fairly long walk from start, as GP ought to be. But once
you don't want your GP right next door.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a vanilla player. It should be a hard fought behind many caves and invisible moas.
Desi Shatty unfortunately did not loop. He game overed, so he's back in here.
Level 131. That's how you go through. Whoa, dude, you gotta jump. Good move here from Koper, in my opinion, picking up upstab on the way to GP.
Yeah, easy find. It was great to run right into it. So
a little bit of a lesson learned, it sounds like, from the seed he apparently had yesterday.
It's amazing how he can de-rust at about 2 hours and be at top tier skill level already.
And it's like riding a bike, I guess.
That and he did a race earlier, and I think he played an ALTTPR cross keys before that in a race. So that's three different races in a single night, 2 in the same game. If I do 2 seeds in the same night, my seeds I get them confused. So
yeah, I feel like that gets better though. Like the more time you spend doing it.
Koper is looking for the way up north.
Just race trails 90 times and then it won't be a thing.
I try, but at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm not really available to race.
I know he's on the East Coast. I love it, like clockwork.
Nothing better than a 5 a.m. Discord ping. Who wants to race?
Yeah, there are some channels where I have the sound notifications turned off because I know I'm going to be checking them during the day.
There we go. Koper finds the giant funnel into Valley of Death.
He played GeoGuessr today? Koper's the first person I ever saw play GeoGuessr, and I was duly impressed with his knowledge of rural America.
Koper, I believe, is also a Milwaukee Bucks fan, and I think he had to get all his racing in tonight so that he's ready for Game 6 tomorrow night.
I'm a Suns fan.
Also a Suns fan. It's going to be interesting.
I know. Oh my gosh. Oh wait, were you the person who did the Suns and 6 in the Discord while everyone else was like Bucks and 6?
No comment.
Because I had predicted 7 after Game 4. It might be 6 for the Bucks though. We'll see.
I would love to see a 7 in Phoenix. I don't think we've seen it. We haven't seen anything like that in the state in a long time.
Yep.
But back to Zelda.
You just said we, like you're a fellow Arizonan. Sorry.
Trying to dox me on my first Z2R stream?
No. Just trying to feel a tiny sense of community and belonging in the world.
I've been in Arizona long enough that I guess I call myself an Arizonan now.
There you go.
Here's where jump would have helped, is in the first waffle room that he's seeing with these guys. I mean, at least it's not a bird night, but not being able to jump over those things. But Coper's playing that pretty masterfully there. You gotta go Kingbot riding along for the ride up top.
Fun with upstab and no jump, even funner with jump and no upstab. By fun, I mean maddening.
Clem, if Arizona reminds you of Fired Pie, you have the wrong memories of the state of Arizona. So, pretty widespreading GP here. There's 3 routes that Coper could be taking right now. There's a right up above and a left down below, and he took the right down below as well.
Oh man.
Another decision point, so we're now on 4 pathways.
Could either be really, really good or really frustrating, depending what he sees in this path. I do like the Thunderbird requirement, though. There it is. Okay, so expertly routed.
First way, yeah. Look at that.
Just knowing that behind Thunderbird is the correct path takes out so much of the potential rooms you would see in GP.
It's a race now between Thunderbird kill and Shatty's second gem.
Oof. I think Shatty's got the edge. Take it. No reflects for jkoper, it looks like. Just doing
I think it was just
dodges.
Nice clean Thunderbird kill for Coper.
Yeah, well done.
I think that's one of those things, once that's in your brain, it doesn't come out.
Mm-hmm.
With four pathways before this, yep, immediate Dark Link, there it is.
Incredible. That was a fantastic GP for jkoper there. Couldn't have gone any better.
I don't know if much of that seed could have gone better for him, honestly, looking at a 107 and change here.
Yeah. No complaints about any of that. I'm trying to think back, like, what questionable decisions did jkoper make? And, you know, there's nothing of substance to point to. Like, just about every decision that was made, even if it was risky, like, it had a fair amount of logic and probability behind it that made sense. I think the most up in the air part was just the choices in the very beginning. But they were fairly closed, right? You knew that going from the west to Maze Island and then to Death Mountain, that was itself just kind of 2 or 3 items there. You rule those out, and then the rest of the world is available to you. Man, GG's to jkoper picking up his first win in this tournament.
This should be his second win, actually.
Second win! Second win! Look at that!
Picked one about 2.5 hours ago. He is
totally
halfway to the bracket round.
That's right. He had like, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes in between these 2 races.
Plenty of time for a round of GeoGuessr that I'm sure he 100%ed as well.
Stamping that card.
Looks like Shatty took the forfeit pretty much immediately after. So
yeah. And with the amount of seed left to go, I don't blame him at all for that. pretty
And I know
overwhelming.
Shatty's been really busy with the Olympics and the MAME side of the thing, so I don't think he's gotten as much practice in Z2R as he wanted to.
Sure. And oh, Shatty's in here with us. Shatty, how you doing? How are we feeling?
Good, strong showing. I feel like
There we go. That's the
really,
attitude.
it was a really strong start. I feel like I was just turning a corner there.
Undoubtedly, you picked up stuff that you needed right away. One of the things we observed is a pretty heavy emphasis on item exploration, just getting as many locations under your belt as possible, and then the palaces coming in pretty late in the process, where Coper was kind of taking things as they came, doing palaces as he went. Was there a factor in leaving the palaces till later that was part of your mentality going into it, or is just that's how it went?
I got glove blocked in 1-5. I don't even know how you get through that room. I couldn't figure it out. That guy throwing the stuff at you in the lava, too hard for me. Skill blocked.
That was a tough room. That was a tough room for sure. And then that glove block, we noticed that like it was both sides, and you saw both sides of it. Like, yeah, that's a block. That's you gotta have the block to get through there.
Looks like we have Coper in here as well. Congratulations, Coper, on back-to-back. Way to start the Z2R tourney.
GG's, Coper. Well done.
Thanks, GG. I'm a little confused how you were glove blocked because the glove was pretty easy to get.
I'm not very good at this.
I feel like you've beaten me in a race of this not long ago. Maybe I'm wrong, but I could be confusing you with the other Z1R guys too. I don't know. I just know that in recent pickup races of this, I feel like I've done poorly.
I took a wrong turn and ended up east, and then just kept going out there rather than staying west, south of the town there, the water town.
Yeah.
Searching the caves.
I went east what I felt like was early, but I had already completed 3 palaces by the time I went east. So
didn't even complete 3 palaces altogether.
And you guys both went east about the same time, just an FYI. The only difference was, Coper, you had a glove and 3 palaces under your belt.
That's absurd, but yeah, I'm sorry, man. I don't know.
It's all good.
Well, it sounds like that's probably the biggest factor then was just having the glove and knowing that the exploration was available versus not having it, and then coming across the block and then wondering, when am I going to pick that up? But,
yeah, I think another chunk of it, Coper, you were able to first try get to the back of the Death Mountain and also pick up 4 or 5 levels along the way. Shatty, you were probably 1 cave short of getting through there, and that would have been a little bit of a difference maker.
Yeah, that was the boots in Death Mountain. I don't know if he got there, but they were
eventually.
Nice to have for sure. I don't think they were required one bit, but they were very nice in the east.
It's a really tough start where you kind of had to go through there, and I was having all sorts of trouble on Maze Island and Death Mountain.
Yeah, I don't know what fairy cost at low levels, because you could get fairy right away and then go through fairy cave, but or jump cave, I mean. But you either had to go through jump cave or go into Maze Island for sure, one or the other. I don't think there was a single other thing to do really. So
yeah, it was uncastable till Magic 3, Coper. So I think by the time you got it, you had the Magic 3. Yeah, Shatty had it. I think it was 90 at Magic 2. So uncastable.
Yeah. Anyway, that was extremely smooth for sure. No complaints on my end. I don't know. I had some deaths that were bad, but I figured it out. I could have just used fairy sometimes and made it easier, but I was like, I want to see if I can make this jump, and I'll use fairy if I don't. And then I kept falling in the lava, and
that was a 3 tile up jump, wasn't it? You failed it a couple of times.
Yeah, But I made a bunch of those this run too, so I don't know.
I heard a rumor that you voluntarily jump over the Canadian hole without casting jump, just, because it's easy.
Sometimes.
Your words.
It depends. Well, that also depends on the tile set,
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, for anyone who didn't see it, you should go back and watch the VOD of my race versus Cross Product, because that seed was a more interesting start than this one, I think. Not that much more, I suppose. But yeah, this version of the randomizer is really crazy, and it does lots of weird things for sure. The logic is really complicated, and it's interesting to see how everything connects. And I am still getting comfortable with it, but I feel like tonight was a step in the right direction, I guess.
Oh, for sure. From our perspective, we're just trying to look at like decision making and gameplay and stuff like that, and there really is nothing about how you approach the seed that is questionable in any way. Like every decision made sense, and I don't feel like there was like a bad play that happened in there. So yeah, well run seed, and 107 is a solid time for a 6 gem.
Yeah,
in the
for sure. If it's not a PB, I mean, it's PB on this set of splits, but I have other sets of splits out there. So I think I have one that's right around an hour, maybe. But yeah, it was really good. And thanks for the race, Shatty. Thanks for stepping up to the comms restream, tracking, everything like that.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. GG's jkoper.
West Coast.
Good luck.
Yeah, thanks. Same to you. Good luck in all of you guys. Good luck in your future matches. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So, Koper, you've still got 2 left. Shatty, you've got 3 left in the group stages. Plans to get those done relatively soon, or?
Yeah, we have a while to do them, right?
We've got almost a whole month here. I guess we don't need to jam them all in the first week.
Yeah,
I think.
I wouldn't mind getting those in before DWR tournament starts. And I've got other things going on, and then there's the Cross Keys tournaments at the same time. So it wouldn't be bad to get those in sometime soon and not worry about it. But I have no idea when that's going to happen. So
yeah, and I think there's something somewhat important tomorrow night to take care of too that I might be eating crow on. So
I hope so, but you never know what'll happen. They've had a great back and forth all year, so yeah, definitely not doing a race tomorrow night. So all right.
Well, best of luck to you on that for sure.
Yeah.
With that, I think it's pretty late for both of you guys already. So if you guys need to step out, we can probably draw this to a close.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
So, yep. Sorry, go ahead, Aardvark.
Okay, I'll play us out. Thank you very much to our runners, to our commentators, to our tracker, and to all of you for watching with us. I'm going to run through a little bit of what we got coming up tomorrow on Zelda Speedruns. At 5 p.m. No, sorry, 1 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, we got Wind Waker Randomizer tournament match right here on Zelda Speedruns. 2 p.m. on Zelda Speedruns 2, we got Link's Awakening DX Any% tournament. 3 p.m. ZSR_3, possibly another Zelda 2 randomizer, much like this one. That one from Group C, Victor Santa Fe versus Kulane. And then 3:30, 4, and 6, all Wind Waker randomizers on various channels. You can check out our schedule and join us next time. I think I've managed to find someone who's working on a Zelda 1 randomizer seed. And we'll just head over there and see how that person is doing tonight. I hope you all have a lovely evening.